Imagine it's 2:14 in the morning. You hear glass shatter. Your alarm is going off. You grab your firearm and move toward the sound. A stranger is inside your home. Seconds later, shots are fired. The threat is down. You call 911. A few minutes later, police arrive. An officer approaches and asks, "Tell me exactly what happened." Another officer asks, "How many times did you shoot him?" A detective says, "If this was self-defense, you have nothing to worry about. Just explain everything." Your heart is racing. Your adrenaline is through the roof. If knowing your rights matters to you, subscribe now. Share this with someone who needs it and drop your opinion below. You believe you did nothing wrong. So what do you do? What should you say? And what words could turn a lawful act of self-defense into evidence used against you later? Today, we're talking about one of the most important moments of your life. Not the shooting itself, the conversation that happens afterward. Because if you ever use force against an intruder, the legal battle often begins the moment police arrive, and one wrong statement can create problems that never needed to exist. In this video, you'll learn what officers are looking for, what mistakes people commonly make, the exact phrases many attorneys recommend, and how to protect your rights while still cooperating with law enforcement. Let's get into it. The first mistake is talking too much. Most people think that if they immediately explain everything, police will recognize they were the victim and go home. But that's not how investigations work. Police are gathering evidence, they're collecting statements, they're comparing what people say against physical evidence. And remember something important. After a violent encounter, your memory may not be accurate. Adrenaline affects perception. Time distortion happens. People often misremember distances, sequences, and details. Imagine an officer asks, "How far away was he when you fired?" You answer, "About 10 feet. Later, evidence suggests it was 6 feet. Now investigators aren't just examining the shooting, they're examining inconsistencies in your statement. That's why many defense attorneys recommend giving only essential information initially. A commonly suggested approach sounds like this: "Officer, that person attacked me. I was in fear for my life. I will cooperate fully after speaking with counsel." Notice what this does. It identifies you as the victim. It identifies the threat. It communicates willingness to cooperate, but it avoids a lengthy statement while you're under extreme stress. The second mistake is trying to convince officers that you're innocent. People often start talking nonstop. They explain every thought they had, every movement they made, every fear they felt. The problem is that the more you talk, the more opportunities there are for misunderstandings. Remember, officers arriving at the scene don't yet know what happened. Their job is to investigate, not to immediately take anyone's side. A realistic exchange might sound like this: "Officer, why did you shoot him?" Homeowner, "Because he came through the door and I thought he had a weapon, and then he moved and maybe he said something and I wasn't sure." And at that point, the homeowner may be creating confusion instead of clarity. A more controlled response could be, "Officer, I was in fear for my safety. I want to cooperate, but I would like to speak to a lawyer before making a detailed statement." Short, clear, professional. The third mistake is forgetting that physical evidence matters. Many people focus entirely on explaining themselves, but there may be important evidence that officers haven't noticed. Maybe the intruder dropped a weapon. Maybe a door was forced open. Maybe security cameras captured the entire incident. A commonly discussed approach is identifying critical evidence without giving a detailed narrative. For example, "Officer, the evidence is over there. That camera may have recorded what happened. That person witnessed the incident." Then stop talking. Why? Because evidence can disappear. Witnesses can leave. Security footage can be overwritten. Pointing investigators towards important evidence may help preserve facts without requiring you to give a full statement while under stress. The fifth mistake is waiving your right to counsel. This is where many people get into trouble. An investigator may sound friendly, professional, even sympathetic. You may hear something like, "Help us understand your side," or "If you're innocent, now's your chance to explain." But rights exist for a reason. Requesting an attorney is not an admission of guilt, it's a legal protection. One phrase is especially important. I want to speak to a lawyer before answering questions. Say it clearly, say it calmly, then stop talking. Notice the wording, not maybe I should get a lawyer, not do you think I need an attorney, not I guess I'll talk to someone. Those statements can create ambiguity. The clearer the request, the stronger the protection. I want to speak to a lawyer before answering questions. Simple, direct, difficult to misunderstand. The sixth mistake is becoming argumentative or combative. Even if you believe officers are treating you unfairly, even if you're frustrated, even if you're exhausted, the roadside is not the courtroom. The front lawn is not the courtroom. The interview room is not the courtroom. Arguing rarely helps. Instead, remain respectful. If officers give lawful commands, comply. If you're instructed to put down a firearm, do so safely. If you're instructed to show your hands, do so immediately. If you're detained, do not resist. You can protect your rights without creating additional problems. A good example sounds like this. Officer, I am not resisting. I will comply with lawful commands. I would like to remain silent and speak to a lawyer. That combination is powerful because it separates cooperation from self-incrimination. You're complying, but you're not volunteering potentially damaging statements. Now let's talk about an important legal reality. Self-defense laws vary significantly by state. Castle doctrine laws differ. Stand your ground laws differ. The legal justification for using force depends heavily on specific facts. What the intruder was doing matters. Whether there was an immediate threat matters. Whether force was reasonable under the circumstances matters. That's why no video can provide personalized legal advice. And that's why broad statements like, just say this and you'll be fine, are dangerous. There are no magic words. No script guarantees immunity. But there are communication habits that generally reduce unnecessary legal risk. Stay calm. Stay respectful. Identify yourself as the victim if appropriate. Point out critical evidence if necessary. Do not guess. Do not speculate. Do not fill silence. Do not argue. And do not give a detailed statement until you've had an opportunity to obtain legal advice. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember this framework. Comply with lawful commands. Keep your hands visible. Do not argue. Do not volunteer unnecessary information. State that you were in fear for your safety if that is true. Request a lawyer before answering detailed questions. Then remain silent, because after a self-defense incident, the greatest threat to your case may not be what happened during those few seconds. It may be what you say during the next few minutes. And in our next video, we're going to cover another situation that catches people completely off guard. When police ask, "Do you mind if we take a quick look inside?" and why that simple question has led to thousands of people to give away rights they didn't even realize they had.